Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about DJI microphone. So let's dive right into it. Now what exactly we are talking about? We are talking about basically a better variant of DJI, basically Rode Wireless Go 2. So two mics, one receiver, meaning stereo. You're gonna have stereo transmitter and a mono receiver, and this puppy is gonna pump up the audio in left and right channel of these things. Now this is a bit different compared to Rode system because it has by default integration of charging case, meaning yes, you can charge all of these utilizing the USB-C cable, but you're not supposed to, you do not need to, because it will come with this case. So compared to Rode, you need to have three cables. So assuming this way, let's say you are doing any mobile vlogging, you will have three cables that is just charging your Rode system, one for your mobile phone, other for gimbal and all that. So you will need boatload of charging ports. This just one port charging this, and this can recharge your small puppies for 2 times. So you're talking more or less basically exactly like how wireless ear dongles work at this point in time. Headphones, AirPods, so to say. Now it has inbuilt microphone exactly like a Rode system, and it's actually good. It's really usable, and it does have basically dead cat jack where you can put the dead cat and lock it, so it will not just magically fall off. Or you can utilize a pro level microphone utilizing lavalier system. Be mindful, it does not have locking jack, which may become an issue, and the target price is around $300. Be mindful, when I'm making this video, it has not been launched. The target launch point of this puppy is around mid-January. So in contrast, this is a bit more expensive than Rode Wireless Go 2. Now price is fluctuating. Some people are saying it's almost $400, some are saying $350. I'm saying in B&H is $320. So that's why I'm saying it's actually above 300, and by all definition it will be more expensive than Rode Wireless Go, and it does make sense. It does come with more batteries and a completely different case, so it does make sense it's gonna be a bit more expensive just on the raw material front. So what's the different in this? Well, basically think of it this way. In engineering, we have a rule: either you do it first or you do it better. So they took the route of doing it better. So they looked at a Rode system and they're like, okay, what are the common complaints? They solved all of them. First complaint was, why the heck the screen was on the top? Imagine putting in your camera and now you have to look like this on top of your camera. Why they're like, what if I put it here? Now this has the benefit that you can rotate it in the front wise or the back wise, so you can read the screen wherever you are. If you are like shooting something, you can still see the image, awesome. If you're doing selfie or doing like this, you can rotate it on your side, still awesome. So that's the whole point. Everything about this is far more refined, as in like, okay, what people did not like about the Rode system? Yeah, it had buttons and very clunky interface. Okay, we're gonna give a proper touch screen. Yes, this is a touch screen, and you can do everything without ever needing to touch a computer or app or something like that. It's just like touch screen, done, go home, sweet dreams. And basically the transmitter is half size compared to Rode system. So if you had a good time hiding Rode system, this will be like, you will not even notice it. That's how easy it is. And in terms of receiver have a swappable jack system. Now that swappable jack, it's up to you how you utilize that. For example, you can put a hot shoe mount there, and that will allow you to mount it on camera and transfer the audio via basically audio cable. That's awesome. And if you are like iPhone user, you can replace that whole hot shoe system with basically lightning jack. Be mindful, because Apple is outdated, that it's not USB 3, it's USB 2.0. You will only get mono audio input. It will still be better than any other setup, but be mindful, it still would be mono. It's not a limitation of this company, it's a limitation of the Apple. Then in terms of Android or PC, you can utilize the USB-C system, and then you can go YOLO on it. You don't have to worry too much after that. And they have designed this so well that charging case, if let's assume it this way, let's you have put any of the jacks there, you can still put it in charging case, still will charge, because you can see it has basically 8 pins for the basically these ports and 4 pin independent. That 4 pin independent for charging system. So it's really well built. It's like somebody sat down, it's like, hey, it wouldn't be awesome if you can just like leave it there. Like let's say you only use USB-C, rather than pulling it out and then putting it in charging case, which will wear down the contacts. You're like, just put it there once, don't worry about it. That's awesome. That's like somebody sat down, is like, okay, let's make it usable. So that swappable jack is really desirable, and the fact that you can rotate the jack so you can have the screen facing your side or viewer side, whatever floats your boat. That's awesome. And in terms of transmission, it also have magnetic mounting, which again right now is the new hot thing. Put everything into a magnetic mount. Again, desirable or may not be desirable, up to you. And it can act as an independent recorder, which is surprisingly odd that it's missing from Rode system, because again it has internal memory. It has the functionality built into it where it can record for upwards of 15 hours of recording. That's a lot of time. That's like almost as much as I get H1N. Now, be mindful, H1N has an issue that it does not accept larger SD card than 32 bits, 32 gigabytes. So that's why it cannot go further than that. But this has 8 gigabytes, really good audio format around 24 bit. So you can do really quality recording. Let's say you just had an idea and you're like, okay, let's turn it on, record it. You can just do that. You don't have to worry about it. Like, this is a recorder, then it is pumping that audio out into a camera. That's a secondary function. It can record audio by default. So it can also act as an independent recorder, which may be desirable. Let's say you are doing a lot of audio podcast, you can still buy this. So that is really awesome. Basically everything, every single problem the Rode people had, they're like, okay, let's solve all of those problems. Now, what I'm saying, basically this is a better Rode. Now, does that mean Rode is really that bad? Well, the biggest issue with Rode is like Rode introduced a very good system. Be mindful, they're not the first company that come up with the idea of having 2 transmitter going into 1 receiver. That was awesome. That was done by other third-party company, but none of them were tier 1 manufacturer. However, Rode did that, and Rode realized that if you are talking about wireless system, no matter how good you are, heck, even if you are NASA, you still do not know how to make a wireless signal absolute. It will always have dropouts. Heck, for example, I just looked at a live stream of James Webb. Yeah, signal was dropping out. The James Webb telescope, we had signal dropout, but it happens. It's one of those things that you have to deal with that. So having the fact that the transmitter itself has an onboard backup memory, awesome. But somehow they forgot that you're supposed to dump that file. You're supposed to transfer that file into a computer or wherever. You need to use Rode Central for that. Why? Why the heck you need to have this third-party application installed in your system in order to just copy audio files? It does not make sense. And they built it, so that creates an issue that, let's say you're just giving your Rode system to someone else. It's like, hey, use it and go YOLO on it. They can't. They have to install this thing. And on top of that, let's say they installed it, you still can't transfer file, all as a one multiple batch file. Let's say you selected 4 files, transfer. Yeah, no, one by one. Why? That was genuinely like, what were you thinking, like, when they came up with it? Because this app development did took time, and the reason why they have such a complicated app, because app is the reason why you're controlling most of this functionality is controlled through apps rather than on the body itself. And that's the difference between this DJI and this thing. DJI has touch screen to control every function. This, you have to turn on backup here, you have to turn on mute functions, everything you have to turn on here. So that creates an issue. DJI, on the other hand, is like, if you connect the transmitter, it acts as a flash storage, meaning just transfer the file. Don't think about it, just Control C, Control V, done, go home, sweet dreams. That's awesome. Range improvement has been done. It has much higher interference tolerance. Now, be mindful, this is a wireless system. There is no wireless system, nor it ever can be built a wireless system that will never have a drop or interference or things of that nature. It's just a bit better. And range wise, all testing is showing that it's actually 20 to 35% better, and especially good performance in indoor environment, meaning if you are indoors and you're going across walls, it has much better performance. Do not expect it to be like, yeah, this is like 3 times better. No, it's just a bit better. Meaning the likelihood of you having to use the backup file is much less comparatively. And one of the biggest basically short-sightedness of Rode was not including a charger case. Like, this sort of charger case are now flooding the market, which is from ZGCINE. Basically you're supposed to plonk all these, because here's the deal, 3 charger USB 3 cables are not that easy to find. So having a charging case where you can just plonk everything there and be done with it, that was like a short-sighted, because everybody figured it out, like this charging case, like that's how all AirPods work, and every third clone of that also works. It's like, this is one of those things that Rode should have got it. And like, again, so far, like, there are third-party alternatives, but they have not released any first-party one. And this company from day one is like, okay, the box is a desirable thing. It's something that you want to have, something that makes carrying easy, something makes charging easy. Basically, it improves your what we call usability. So that's why it's a very good thing. So fundamentally, this rarely happens that you are like, okay, this product versus this product, this is tangibly better. This has happened this time. Now, only things you can find, again, sound is a bit of a art kind of feeling. So you may like the Rode signature sound, you may not like the DJI side, because even though sound is like, you can quantify everything, but our ears are a bit more colored equipments. So you may like Rode sound, you may like that. But at this point in time, we are at a audio quality equipment as, if you are having issue, either A, you got a defective product, or you're doing something wrong. Because audio at this point in time, both of them, unless you are like extremely like shooting the next Avengers, you're not gonna have an issue. So these are really good prosumer, both of them. But compared to Rode, if you can afford to go to DJI, because it will be more expensive, 10 to 25% more expensive, if you can afford that, go it, and like, you will be thanking me. Now, at this point in time, lot of third-party options have come, after the first wireless Go. Lot of flooding happened. Basically, every third-party company started to make that, and Rode Wireless Go 2 was a really good first-tier manufacturer approach to that. And DJI is another first-tier manufacturer who's like doing like, let me show you how to do it properly. So what we can expect in the future? Well, there is only one major thing that's missing at this point in time. That is 32-bit float recording. Now, the smallest, there are two equipments that I know that are tiny and that can do that. First is Zoom F2, and there is a Tentacle Sync, another system that is used for time syncing. It also has 32-bit float recording. Now, benefit of 32-bit float recording is that you do not worry about safety tag, you do not worry about gain, you do not worry about how hot your mic is. You don't think about those things. You're like, I do not care about that. Why? Well, it has two analog to digital converters, and they are not basically swapping into one another. They are feeding both of the data at the same time in one audio file. And the closest analogy to this sort of technology, 32-bit audio recording, is what we used to use in the olden days when we had what we call analog limiters, meaning the signal coming and the voltage signal coming into the system. If it was too high, basically it was about to clip, there is analog circuit that will start to taper it down. So meaning your sensitivity will go. Now it's about to clip. Now it will like flatten it out. Now again, it did benefit that your audio will not clip, but the quality of audio degraded a lot. Basically, it randomly felt like, hey, somebody toned down the volume. It did work. It did allow you to have a safe recording, but it was like a good compromise. Now 32-bit is like, I don't care, go YOLO on it, go yell as much as you want. As long as your microphone can convert that audio signal into an electrical impulse, I can register it in my proper digital directory without any issue. Basically, your microphone will physically clip before the recorder will, hey, this is too hot. So that's why 32-bit is such a big deal. And another things can be done, like for example, your transmitter could be like 32-bit recording, 32-bit backup recording, but camera cannot absorb that 32-bit because there is no USB link for audio system. You still have to transmit through basically audio jacks. Audio jacks are generally certified for 24-bit. So how the heck you gonna do? You can have auto gain adjustment. Again, it will add a bit of latency, but you will have perfect audio because that 32-bit is like, audio is here. The program can easily analyze it. Like it will add 1 or 2 millisecond latency latency and it's like auto adjust it. So that is the most desirable feature that still missing. That 32-bit is like, just don't worry about which lavalier to you. Don't worry about how loud the environment. Don't even think about it's like, hey, am I talking loud enough? Am I clipping or am I like too quiet? Don't worry about that. That's the only function that is missing. And for professional use, locking lavalier jacks, because there are some lavalier microphones that are idiotically expensive, meaning it will make your car look cheap. I'm not joking. It will make your car look cheap. Those are generally used for Hollywood big budget productions, but most of them will flat out not plug in either basically Rode or DJI, simply because they require lock-in connectors. Now this lock-in connector is one extra step of security that you have. It's like, hey, I put it there, I locked it, done. It's not gonna like poop. It's not gonna do that. So that is one of those things that for professional will not test it. That's why it's classified as prosumer level equipment, not pro level equipment. You have to have that. And in terms of let's say I'm genuinely planning to buy one of these things, either Rode if due to availability, or DJI if I can afford it, because again, I'm not sure how expensive it will be in India, but there is a serious limitation in this. That is teeny tiny battery. Now that teeny tiny battery, to give you a context, that is 1 watt hour. I'm not joking. The battery is 1 watt hour. It's like, to be fair, it's like 0.9 watt hour. You get that point. Like the battery is tiny. And when I provided the video down below, as individual is like, pulling it apart. And then I realized like, why the heck DJI is like, DJI is half the size, because it's empty. Most places are empty in Rode system. So I'm pretty sure again, if you're a company like DJI, you're gonna buy a Rode, you're gonna open it up, you're gonna study it, you're gonna analyze it. It's like, oh, they did this right, they did this wrong. So I'm pretty sure they looked at it, it's like, dude, it has empty space. I'm like, that simply means Rode could have put a much bigger battery compared to, like, let's say 9 watt. I'm pretty sure 9 watt, I'm saying 0.9 watt. I'm pretty sure they can go push it to upwards of 2 watts, and that would have given much longer life and longevity, meaning your cells will survive much longer. Right now, this thing, you're lucky if you're using like me, how I'm planning to use it, where I'm gonna record 2 times every day. I'm expecting this puppy to last barely 1 year. Basically, many people who have dealt with like tiny earbuds, they know for a fact they do not last very long. Like I have a wireless headsets which are huge like this. Those batteries are still surviving. They can still give me multi-hour listen time when they are multi-year old. You do not get that on small cells. Cell has a physical, this is a law of chemistry. You make it cell very small, it inherently goes poof very quickly. So this is the biggest limitation on these things. Basically, you buy this, you cannot be like, okay, I'm gonna keep using it for few years. Like you can use your camera for many years, because again, camera battery will degrade, but you can swap it out. This battery will degrade, you cannot swap it out. That is the biggest basically e-waste issue here. So I genuinely expect some third party company to come like okay, I learned from both of you and I'm just giving this three things. So I genuinely want user serviceable battery, because like it does have battery, it does have cable. Now cable does not have a slot, so it required soldering iron. It can be done, it's just like, why? It's like this was like a very, like when he opened it up, it's like I was like, oh, it's gonna have like 3-5 layer PCB, it's gonna have like multiple interlocking systems. Like no, one PCB, battery, and space fillers, the foam fillers. I'm like, that's disappointing. So this is what I'm expecting in the future. It's like finally we're gonna have 32-bit, hopefully someday soon, and we're gonna have locking jacks, and we're gonna have either user replaceable battery or something that at least a company is taking a actual effort. Is like, okay, we're gonna make the batteries just serviceable, whereas like send it to any professional, they're gonna replace it for you. So that is things that I'm expecting in the future, because right now we have reached a point where it's like, yeah, we can't really do much more than this. So this was my presentation on basically DJI microphone. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, and I would urge you to leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.